Does anybody know what we do?
Do overly ambitious things in very short time frames.
Yeah, so we built a virtual environment for businesses to host events in, but to also have as a space. I think that's...
Like you said, it's almost that Second Life-y. It's just an open space where you just interact. It's almost like a sandbox in a way.
And we built it using Unity with a lot of stuff sort of built onto the top of it. How much of it is ours, would you say, Connor?
Majority. It's plugins that are used for smaller pieces, but connect all together, and the actual logic behind it,
What are the benefits of using Unity over using
speed? Doing your own is very costly, and all the issues and all the nice things that Unity has, someone has to build them.
I can kind of see why you've used it. I haven't got any experience in any of the platforms really.
I'll tell you why. One of the reasons we use it is that it's easier to hire C# developers than it is to hire C++ or Blueprint devs, because as big as Unreal is in terms of like its press, I don't think it's as big of a company as Unity is for the start. And I also think it just seems to be easier to find C# developers than it is to find C++. I don't know what the...
C#'s also a much friendlier language. C++ is that sort of old approach, but it's incredibly powerful. But there's no hand holding and no safety rails.
And get all the people's thoughts on the restrictions to put on the video chat and stuff.
The video chat it makes sense for, definitely, being that when you interact with it, when I guess you join, you have to be admitted. So opposed to say someone just being able to drop in, having especially video calls, if there's an admin present, you have to, you're essentially requesting to be admitted, so that way the admin, whoever's there, has control over the session. They can allow them in whenever they want. But we weren't sure how to handle it for voice zones, because ideally, if it's driven by some kind of interaction, like sitting at a table or something, that's good, because people just accidentally running in and out of voice zones was a slight problem.
Basically, our worry is that having what we had in RS is great for RS when we can control everybody, but if we just open this up to a bunch of people in South by, we just end up with a load of internet trolls. It's our brand that's attached to it as well, so I'm just slightly concerned that we need some level of control. But the second you put loads of controls on something, people don't use it. So what's the right balance, really?
The idea of why we're working in this is because no business wants to make a game or wants to be seen to be making a game, but they want to be seen to be making experiences. So we want to sort of fudge it and lie to them. Not lie to them, it's the wrong word, but try and spin it so that they don't see that what they're making with us is a game. Yeah. I think it all came from that O2 event that we did and the RS Components one that we've done. It's like they are essentially really basic games because it has to be basic because people are mad. It's still a communication tool. It's not a game per se. People went to the RS thing not to play a game. They went there to talk to each other.
Because in a way, it's gamification of communication. As soon as you say game, people are terrified because they're like, it's a video game. Kids play video games, which is like, everyone plays games, but at the same time, games are really useful for getting across content and information because it's one of the most interactive media. So, you don't just sit there and watch a game. You have to. It's back and forth.
If you want to have like interactions to, like you were saying, you want to be able to go and click things and, even the small things you want to be able to go and interact with them. Could we just have a pop-up thing? It was like the R2D2 thing, suppose you walk up to him.
He's annoyed. Could
it pop up with something like, did you know George Lucas did something in 1983? Do you know what I mean? Just
loads of accusations. Did you know? Did in 1983. Something like.
It's not a vehicle for you to get out your agenda.
We've got accepted into the South by Trade mission. For that, we figured we should probably make our own space rather than just sell someone else's.
It's following on from the lines of the RS project and the O2 projects, but it's probably more traditional in its approach. We hope we're trying to bring everything together with all the tech that we know works, pushing a few things, but also trying to make it look, from my point of view, aesthetically pleasing and impressive within the brief, which was to create this almost 1980s mall. I'm far too young for that, so do you know what I mean? I miss the 80s.
How did you miss the 80s?
I was born in 85.
I was born in 83. Whenever I've shown it to people, it's sort of I don't know whether it sort of screams the underestimation of people of your ability or our ability as a company. Is I regularly get asked, so have you built this then, or is this something somebody else has built and you're just licensing it? There's never no one ever leads with, oh wow, you built this thing then. Yeah. People advertise it or people talk about our space to other people. It's like, oh, it's the only limit is your imagination. You sort of sit there and think, that's not the only limit, actually, because there's getting it in front of people and making sure it works across everyone's systems. And I think to try and impress on people that there's nothing wrong with that. You can find the user experience that works.
I'm just thinking of only demoing the complicated stuff, like once. If you see what I mean? Or like, it doesn't have to be in as many places in order to keep the workload down. Is what I'm saying. Is like, if you demonstrate that you can do those 3D product demos in one shop, you don't need to have them in 3 or 4 other shops. It just needs to be sort of demoed once. And it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, dev guys, but the chat zones are relatively easy to put in once you establish how it all works.
Yeah.
So let's have a shitload of them, have them all over the shop, and use those. That's where that list of ideas came from. Was essentially to like, what's the least expensive in terms of time and development costs and all that sort of stuff, and how can we fit that into as many different shops as possible?
Why are we doing this and not just doing a browser-based experience? Because our thing has to run through an app, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think performance-wise, we want to have that, like Dean was saying, we want to have that space that has a little bit of wow factor. And you can do it to an extent within a browser, but you are greatly limited. We just have more control through being an app, load a bit more, kind of pull on the resources more than I guess if we were in a browser.
Obviously the shops are empty, but there's the sort of mall signage as well that's needed, just to sort of make the space a bit more believable.
Yeah, okay.
That's going to be time consuming a bit from my side, definitely.
Well, I think if you start making ad boards, just the models, and then me and Laura can find some time either next week or something like that to basically put together a load of like signage and stuff like that for it that you can just fit onto the boards you've already designed. You see what I mean? You let us know the sizes that things will need to be.
Like for the fashion shop, if you want to actually put in clothes and dummies with clothes on and all that sort of stuff. Again, I don't know. It depends if we can source this stuff and just buy it off the asset store and drop it in, then it's probably not too much of a problem.
That's what I was thinking when we were doing as far as like set dressing was concerned. Is that am I in the right? Steve, do you agree with that?
I wasn't listening.
Brilliant.
Sorry, while you were talking, sorry.
We were only talking about buying asset packs to populate shops with. That's all.
Yeah. Just looking for you. Just don't. Well, I'll say that. Don't go like, I spent $5,000 on a silly shop. So I'm like, well, don't do that. So
it's all right. I forwarded all the receipts to Hannah. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not like that. All right, I think the biggest task then is just Hannah to make every single game that ever existed in the 80s in a week. Crack. I think get a list of games. I just want to play Pong.
So
Pong, it has to be networked.
Can I assume that we are going to have the games that exist already? We are going to put those in, aren't we? Because that seems silly not.
Yeah.
The Superla Shopping Mall thing is like, here's everything refined, and it'll always be the thing that you can go back to, and people can go, it's refined again.
Yeah. We'll probably look back in 6 months' time. It'll probably changed quite a bit.
Yeah, because it changes based on what people are doing it as well. After we did the O2 one to the RS one, the big thing was don't let everybody through the door at the same time. It seems like it, and to some users, some people are like, well, obviously, it's like you have to do it, you have to iterate, you have to try it to see that, that didn't work. Right, like I said, Dean, I don't really know how this is going to go because I don't really know what we might do. Charlie just keeps bugging me for content. So we just need to sort of explain what the fuck we do.